beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel, The Leaf Heart Path, and welcome to your tarot pick-a-card reading. My name is Andrea, and it's my privilege to read for you today. So during our reading, what we're going to do is focus on your unique intuitive and psychic gifts. I'm going to dive into your energy and how your energy appears, feels, or generally presents to other individuals, what they might get when they come across you, when they run into you. We'll also look at if you are somebody who's more of a projector with your energy, or if you're somebody who is more of a receiver and what that means. We'll look at the balance between the two. And then from there, we'll hop into the tarot portion of the reading and take a look at what some of these specific psychic talents or intuitive gifts might be and how they may show up within the boundaries of your energy. And then from there, we'll do a little chakra talk and examine your dominant chakras currently, and maybe those that need like a little boost, a little TLC right now, because when you work with your chakras, essentially you're rooting your energy within your wheelhouse, and that's going to help to amplify and boost those intuitive gifts that you have. And then finally, we'll take any last messages or guideposts that will help you along your intuitive journey moving forward. So I'm really excited about this one. I've been thinking about this for a little while now. I started working on it quite a bit ago, and I'm just getting around to kind of wrapping up the filming here. So here we go. What you see in front of you are 4 different cards, and each card represents a different group. And from left to right, we have group 1, group 2, group 3, and we have group 4 as well. And what I'm going to do is add some crystals to each group for those of you who enjoy choosing with them. Group 1 is marked with Hematoid Quartz. Group 2 represented with Bumblebee Jasper. Group 3, Malachite. And group 4 is topped with a Septarian Nodule. Pause a moment, take a breath, and focus your energy onto the groups or stones that are pictured here. And you might check in and ask yourself, which one of these holds the most resonance for you right now? Because that is going to be your group. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can choose as many or as few groups as you'd like. And keep in mind, this is a timeless reading, and so you can revisit this reading at a later date to see if anything has shifted or changed for you. Because pick-a-card readings are all about your current energy, at the moment you're watching, at this moment, and what is resonating within your energetic field. So the messages that you're picking up on today may not be what you take with you in the future. Timestamps and chapters are listed in the description box and the video bar below. You can pause the video should you need more time to choose. Otherwise, I will see you over in your video. Hello, my friends. You picked the Hematoid Quartz to represent Group 1's energy, and I've already done a little overview of what to expect in the introduction, so if you missed that, you go back and check that out, because I'd like to just dive right into the first part of your reading today. So what we're going to be doing is getting the pulse of your energy just to see what it's like using the oracle cards that we have here. Remember that this is a general reading, so take what applies for you at this time, and please leave the rest for others on their respective journeys. So I'm asking you to pause for a moment, just take a few deep breaths, and center yourself as we're beginning this today. And from this place, your energy will naturally connect and bridge with the rest of the group. So from this space, give a little hi to your fellow Group 1 members, and go ahead and feel that welcome greeting back to you. Okay, here we go. We have the womb, Capricorn. Our keywords are serious, authoritative, ambitious, realistic, structured, traditional, wise, enduring, accomplished, badass, majestic, competent, prepared, down to earth, corporate, reserved, rigid, and disciplined. And we also have Venus, love, beauty, harmony, romance, charm, receiving, sensuality, luxury, wealth, diplomacy, magnetism, value, pleasure, adornment, adoration, attraction, indulgence, taste, and style. Okay. Talk about things that almost feel a little opposite here. So right off the bat, group 1, you have a very magnetizing energy to you. It's almost, I want to say, polarizing with these two almost extremes that we have here. And what I'm thinking of is there's that bumper sticker that you see sometimes. There's that phrase, that saying that says, I come from a long line of terrifying women. Maybe you do. Maybe you are. Because we have this unique intensity that Capricorn brings. The old soul focus, the wisdom, and being a badass. There may be a projecting kind of edge with your energy from this ambitiousness, but I do want to say I think there's a healthy mix of receptivity too, because that's where Venus is going to be coming in. And I feel like these two energies, Capricorn, Venus, they're opposite sides of the same coin. So from that group 1, you want to have sort of this nice balance struck between the receptive and sensual kind of Venusian side, and then the more ambitious and serious Capricornian energies. Capricornian, I don't know. So here, think about Libra scales, right? When your energy at this point of balance is striking that harmony between these seeming opposites, you know, that's when you're making beautiful music with your energy. That's where the harmony is. That's where you're truly riding in your own power. And that's when your chakras are balanced, your aura is nice and clear, and it's vibrating with this beautiful energy that allows you to both maintain boundaries, and yet at the same time, you're still being receptive to other people. Now, if I were to describe your energy, the way it emanates, what would be coming through for that is powerful, polarizing, magnetic, attractive, strong. It may be, in fact, so strong, group 1, that it overwhelms some sensitive individuals. Nobody would call this a whisper, that is for sure. This is a dominant energy. It's unforgettable. On one hand, it can be nourishing. It could be full of love, like a parent's love for their child. Yeah, there's nothing that's singularly as powerful, though, as that kind of bonding connection, the way a parent feels about a child. Some would even drown in that energy. So at minimum, your energy is very moving to other people, okay? I would say overall, though, you have an energy that is almost, I want to say, impossible to ignore. And what's coming to me, I'm sort of seeing this ebbing and flowing. I'm hearing the song Ocean by Goldfrapp. It has that kind of same intensity that you carry in your energy. We've got the tides coming in and out, but there's still like this, you know, sustained kind of movement that's happening in the whole thing. And it sort of hints at what happens when energy's not in balance, when we go too far one way or the other, maybe when we're even playing roles. And what I'm going to do is include that link in the description box below if that is something that you're interested in checking out. I was going to save this information for the tarot portion of the reading, but it's coming through now. Your intuitive gifts group 1 are balanced in both the areas of projection and reception. When your energy is balanced, so when we are striking that chord, that good harmonic chord, between the Capricorn and the Venus side. So I sense that at times you may block yourself from receiving if you lean too much into the Capricorn energy or the ambitious kind of energy. Your manifesting, however, may take a hit if you're leaning too far into the Venusian side of things. However, when you're balanced, like all systems are running, your energy is your own, it doesn't belong to anybody else, you're feeling good, you're powerful, you're a clear channel to receive insight and then also to attract and manifest from the world's energy as well. And that's where the magic is happening, my friends. So that's a little bit about your energy. And now we are going to hop into the tarot. We are working with Synesthesia Tarot today. It's one of my favorites. And let's take a look at what we have here. All right, the Wheel of Fortune. The Lovers. And Death. All majors, guys. That is saying a lot. That's some pretty intense energy there. Pretty potent stuff. So, your gifts are palpable. No doubt. Some of these may be innate, latent, but I think with a little focus and a little attention, any intuitive gift that you have will get polished up nicely. It's not going to take a ton of elbow grease. So firstly, I think that you can likely read energy very well, which is represented by the Wheel of Fortune to me. And yeah, this is about the ups and downs of what others experience. So that may be something that's easy for you to pick up on. Yeah. This could extend into reading trends of like the stock market. Just as an example, politics or the general feeling of a country, a culture, of your state, you know, wherever you live, or other places even perhaps, the people that live there, and the current events that shape, you know, people's world. So I am sensing that, this like ability to sense the trends within things. And so there may be with that a bit of a roller coaster kind of feeling for you. But by using the Capricorn energy that's here, you can learn to turn down or tune out any overactive Venusian kind of empathy that might be there, that may block you from wanting to look into things because you're feeling like you're being led by your heart a little too much. You're feeling too much of the ups and too much of the downs. And you can just, you know, use that, like picture a little dial and turn that down a little bit. Yeah, the messages then that you receive are going to be more clear of emotional influence. So you can learn to keep your aura boundaries sort of nice and bouncy and flexible, not too porous, and then also on the flip side, like not too rigid either. And this may take some practice, but you can get there. And to me, I would label this as being psychic, okay? These energetic tides may also allow you to tap into predicative energies as well. You may find it easier than some people to get an idea of what's happening next in your life or the lives of those around you, or even perhaps people you don't know at all. And this can also include big events. You may also receive seemingly random downloads of information that tell you to go to a certain place and to see something or to do something. So say you have to go to like the bank, for example, and you have a branch you always go to, and instead you're like, nope, today we're going over here, even this one's a little further away, and then you wind up bumping into maybe an old friend you hadn't seen in years. And your connection leads to something, to maybe a re-cementing of the friendship, or you guys work together down the road. Something happens that's beneficial from that. Similarly, you might get some advice to, oh, I want you to sell your car, but I just got this car not that long ago. Go ahead and sell it. Or maybe a house, go buy this particular house, or go to a certain event and meet somebody, and things wind up working out for you in a really good way. if you follow this advice, and now when I'm talking about advice, I'm talking about advice that feels neutral to you or feels positive. This would not be anything that's negative or injurious to yourself or other people. We're only looking at what's neutral and what feels positive. And if you're heeding that, you may find that your life changes in some really radical and rather amazing ways. So have some faith in your abilities there. I think things will really start to shine for you the more that you can kind of dive into that in a really balanced and kind of focused way. Not wading too much into the ups and downs, feeling it out, but kind of turning the volume down on that overactive empathy. So in addition to having this psychic ability, the Lover's card is giving me some manifesting vibes here. Look at that. It's almost like this cute little download I'm getting from heaven. We've got a little heart with angel wings on it, and it's showing balance in its center, and then there's a little line going through it, and there's a little sunshine underneath it. So it's it's coming down to you. And in the center there's, I guess, the yin and yang symbol, and it's two puzzle pieces coming together to create a beautiful union. So that's Gemini energy. All parts falling into place. So again, to me, this is also talking about, this mirrors the energy we were talking about earlier, having that balance, the duality in your energy, so that you can broadcast to the universe, in this instance, your intent, and be receptive and to be open enough to receive, when it's time. So this represents that delicate balance of really wanting something, group one, letting it be known, and then letting it go while the universe delivers, sitting back and just okay, I can wait now, and working on something else. And I know that's much easier said than done, especially when we really want something, but I see this as something that you can do successfully. And with the manifesting, this is something you may have been doing your entire life and you haven't realized it. Maybe you need money. Maybe you need to, fund a trip somewhere. And say you enter a raffle of some kind, and then boom, you win the exact amount of money that you need. Exactly. Or perhaps you buy a home and you need some new furniture, and you wind up winning furniture from a random contest that you enter. And I know that sounds goofy and specific, but those are actually two things that happened to me. So it is, it can happen for sure. And if you're noticing those things and you have your own examples, please share those with us, because I'd love to hear what else, other people are able to manifest. And it's whatever lesson you need, whatever person you need, whatever guidance or thing that you need, the universe will provide it for you. We have to keep in mind, though, with this, that our wants and desires are not always the same thing as what we need. This is an area where a lot of people get tripped up with manifestation. You might spend a moment going over some of your experiences, group one, and ask yourself, can I recall any stories where I manifested something or someone or an outcome when I didn't realize that it happened? And maybe there was a lesson involved with that, or maybe it's something that you can go, oh wow, this is pretty neat. So with you, I just want to say that your energy is so naturally magnetic, it doesn't surprise me to see manifesting on here as an intuitive gift for you, particularly with this kind of balance that we have going on here. So again, we have the psychic ability, we've got manifesting happening, and then let's talk about what this death card represents. So a third intuitive gift for you that's making itself known is that of healing. This might be energy healing with the hands, or it can be emotional healing as well, perhaps both. The death card is emphasizing what happens after a period of ruin and renewal. It's when people start to emerge into the bright light of day again after something challenging has happened. And maybe they're feeling a little raw and kind of exposed in that bright sunshine. you know, and you might be someone that can provide healing and guidance to others when they are experiencing those kinds of things. Your energy may have a very natural kind of balancing effect on others, again, because of where you're coming from. And people may know that they just feel good like being around you. Yeah, and that's when the Venusian side is really dialed up. You can see others, you can support them so that they feel that reception and they feel like they are being seen, they're being witnessed, they're being heard in a period of time that they need that. And you may also naturally just move energy blocks or stagnant or foreign energy from others or fields without even trying. Your energy may do this without you needing to lift a finger. That is definitely a possibility as well. And that's more of like a latent kind of gift. It's just, you know, somebody's own energy. So there are many types of healers out there, thinking about healing as a whole here. And there are many ways to be healed. Listening to somebody, Reiki, cord cutting, massage, cranial sacral therapy, teaching, somebody who's a teacher. You want to see, where do I naturally gravitate? You want to ask that, kind of explore that question a little bit. One area that you jump into could be then like a stepping stone for another and another. And so you may wind up in an area that you never anticipated working in or working with. Yeah, so healing may be an area worth investigating for you if any of this sounds appealing to you, because there is a natural gift of presence about you that will continue to draw other people to you. Yeah, there's a latency to this gift, so you may not realize that you have this ability, again, because I feel like there's just something a bit extra with you, Group 1. Like, we're all healers, but there may be just a little extra sparkle, a little extra shine there with you. So you may have been born just with this natural kind of healing quality to you that makes its presence known to others who need that little bit of light in the dark. And this is certainly something that can be developed. And you may not need to do much work with it at all. It could be that you were a healer in a past life, and that energetic resonance is still within you. And perhaps a single course or a class or a little bit of reading would be enough to unlock this remembrance in more of your cells. It's like a cellular memory, right? And then you find your gifts are quite advanced despite not having to do a lot of training or work in this lifetime. Okay, let's see what else we have coming through here. All right, Queen of Swords. The Two of Swords. And the Seven of Pentacles. So, Group 1, you are likely very claircognizant, I would say. You pick up clear downloads of information and then process it through your crown chakra. So claircognizance roughly means clear knowing, and this is knowing information, and you may not know why or how you know this. You just do. And it pops right in from outside and sometimes unseen sources. It can come from spirit, like your guides or your angels, and even come from other entities, and also from other people and their own aura. I am getting with this a physical component too, and being drawn to objects and places. So you are likely able to read this energy as well. Places, that would be where there's been something significant that's happened and you pick up on it. You know things. You know the energy is there and you're unconsciously taking in and you're reading it. And I'm also seeing objects like antiques or personal artifacts, like here, crystals here. Yeah, that's called psychometry. And so you may be able to read the history of an object by touching it or being close to it, just getting impressions. Because energy is timeless, that's how these videos work too. It's always accessible. So this is a major component of your intuitive skill set, and likely how a lot of your gifts do work and how they manifest in the world. I see clairsentience with this as well. Clairsentience is clear feeling, And that is receiving information from, again, outside and or unseen sources that you feel in your body or you feel in your emotional body. So you may feel pressure on your chest when you're near a ghost or an earthbound entity, or you might feel like your solar plexus and your chest are racing upward when you are near somebody or something that's in your best interest. It's like this elevated kind of feeling. Or sometimes you feel like your throat's closing up, or you get like a tinkling on the top of your head. And so that can maybe leave you feeling a bit like a human barometer at times. So ultimately, this Queen of Swords is showing us that you have this very clear and open central channel. And this is where the cosmic energy of all things is entering you through that crown chakra, and it runs along the back of your spine, going down, down, down to the root chakra, then racing up the front and back out again. Now, that's the way I understand it. That's not how everybody agrees, but that's how I have learned to look at energy. And so you may have your own interpretation of that, and that's fine. Sometimes for some people, this energy is very sluggish when it moves, or it could be blocked. But that's not the case for you, Group 1. Yours is very naturally clear and naturally open. So you receive probably some pretty incredible insight that way. So going back to this idea of the human barometer, let's look at this Two of Swords here. You can use clairsentience to weigh and measure paths and future outcomes. So we have like one path going this way and another path going the other way. Yeah, you can look at different options and different choices. You can feel into potentials to see where there might be a resonance in something. Yeah, something further to explore, or if something could be dropped at this point, and with time, leaning into it, maybe meditating on things a little bit, you may end up finding and refining the energy surrounding multiple paths and outcomes so that something new pops up. This information may come to you via claircognizance or clairsentience, as we talked about, or perhaps other clairs that you may have. And it will likely be, honestly, like a blending of multiple clairs, because energy will always follow the path of least resistance. And the more you work on your clair development, the stronger your clairs become, and you will get a more complete picture with more fully developed clairs, which is something that everybody can do. Intuitive gifts are at everyone's fingertips. It's just part of being human. It's all there, whether you choose to go forward with any of this or not. Sometimes it's just nice to know. But what I do is I leave a link in the description box to an intuitive development blog roundup so that you may enjoy checking that out and just seeing some of the other things that are out there. Maybe checking on claircognizance and clairsentience for yourself. Reading through for signs of that, how might that manifest in your life, and how might you develop that further. And then you can also look into some of the other clairs and see what else is brewing underneath the surface for you, essentially. And finally, the Seven of Pentacles here, I think, is kind of illustrating how important grounding is for you, especially going outside in nature. That may be something that's really important for your energy to help keep that central channel that we talked about here nice and clean and clear. Yeah. It also allows you to naturally filter out foreign energy, or we might call that astral debris, that's taking up space in your aura, right? When you spend time in nature, it allows you to reconnect with your own energy, and what isn't yours is just going to spend some time floating away. And of course, you can almost just picture that moving out. There is a bit of a healing, bend to your energy as well. We talked about that. So you can also move these things out on your own, just through a little concentration and focus. And I want to say for some of you, you may be fully aware that you have intuitive gifts and that you could develop them enough to even make some money from them. And this could be used in a very helpful manner, one that would bring you some income. But I also see that you do have room to grow, okay? You've got deep roots already, for sure. We've got like these powerful cards that are here showing us that. And again, some of these gifts are innate, latent, they take some time to grow stronger, and they're forging deeper connections and roots before they peek through the surface of the soil. These aren't things that are going to be going away for you. So just take some time to explore what interests you, and then you can start practicing. All right. So it's time for a little chakra talk. We're going to see what chakras are strong with you in your current energy right now, and then what may need a little boost or a little TLC. So we have spirit quartz. Got a lot of purple happening. Red jasper. Healthy boundaries. I think this, you say dioptase. Dioptase, I'm not sure which that is. And that says heart healing. Okay, so let's start with spirit quartz. Your crown chakra, again, is very strong. And that's funny because this was right on top of the Queen of Swords, where we were already talking about that crown chakra. So it's almost like just reinforcing that idea. So your crown chakra is the highest chakra of our 7 main chakras, which deals with claircognizance and intuitive downloads, messages from spirit, things of that nature. And we did talk about how if you lean a little bit too much into this Capricorn dominant type of energy, needing things to be a certain way, overanalyzing outcomes, maybe being like domineering a little bit. This kind of structure can actually cut off your natural flow, and it can prevent you from being as receptive to the energies around you as you might be otherwise. But by staying balanced in your energy and keeping it clean, you're going to be able to be a bit more open in recognizing when messages are coming to you. And the crown chakra is the primary way that you're receiving cosmic or universal energy and messages. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what is coming in. And because of this openness, this may make you more receptive to foreign energies. Receptive, primed, open, I guess, any of those words there. So you want to keep your energy clear by creating some kind of energetic hygiene practice that feels right to you, group 1, okay? And remember too, you are the boss, right? You have sovereignty over your energy field, your auric field, your body, okay? So flood your energetic space, your aura, with your own presence by imagining someone you admire who's powerful and who has a strong presence. This is like a little thing I picked up in a course I was taking. Someone who makes you feel good when you're around them or when you see them. Someone you just really are like, oh wow, I really admire how they hold themselves. And that connection to that kind of feeling oftentimes is enough to raise your own vibration, to fill up your own cup, so that you can just kind of imagine the foreign energy that's been sticking in your field floating away, because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs outside of you. It doesn't need to make your space its space. You have sovereignty. And this is just a little something cute to try as you're kind of working through things. You want to keep your methods a little light, a little bright. Oftentimes we can get a little bogged down, a little serious with intuitive work, and it doesn't need to be that way. You don't have to muscle through everything. Not everything needs to be a fight. A little bit of humor can get you a long way, and it's going to keep that momentum as you're working through things kind of going nicely. It's going to make you want to continue to work through. So, smile and have fun with things. And just doing these little kinds of visualizations sometimes is enough just to help keep your energetic field clear of any extra little junk. All right, so we also have red jasper, and again, I was noticing that it has that phrase healthy boundaries on it, and I want to tie that to the root chakra. So we're going all the way from the tip of the head down to the base of the tailbone and the spine for the root chakra. And I feel for you, this is actually an area that could use a little bit of support. Sometimes when this is a little weak, that's when we have a tendency to want to control things. That's where that Capricornian energy is going to be coming in a little bit. The crown chakra is so open. Yeah, and if the root is feeling a little destabilized, it is the lowest of the 7 main chakras. It has to do with security and family and money and very practical and tangible matters. And so when we have that instability or a little bit of sludge here, it's going to be throwing things off a little bit. You're not going to have the foundation that you need, okay? And sometimes very empathetic or sensitive individuals are thrown out of their bodies a little bit, and they tend to kind of live up in the upper chakras. And that may be something you're dealing with, as your crown chakra is so strong, because that does make for some very strong channels, some very strong energy sensors and mediums. But someone who keeps their energy up there may lack healthy boundaries and a connection to their own body, and it may be harder to recognize what's yours and what belongs to somebody else. And then sometimes to control that, that's where we start to lean into rigidity and being a little more like overly disciplined, and then we're really kind of off base there. And so in order to find that balance, you want to, you know, let your root chakra open up a little bit there. Sometimes, you know, that vacancy I talked about when we're up in the upper chakras is due to unprocessed trauma or pain. Also, physical discomfort in our body can cause us to kind of dissociate a little bit. Sometimes people just spend more time, they're happier daydreaming and connected to the higher realms. You know, and there's lots of reasons why that the root may be a little destabilized, a little off, maybe a little sluggish or cut down in size, or a little gunked up. If you suspect that it's due to one of those examples, like, you might dig into that a little bit. You know, see how you can support yourself. Sometimes physical movement, spending time outdoors are other terrific ways to ground yourself as well. Doing physical chores around the house can also be helpful. And also, as a bonus, like, you're giving yourself a tangible result you can see as you're better connecting with your environment. So kind of showing you, like, I do have a little bit of dominion here. I do have some influence, and that can help you get a little more settled in. Also, getting to know your likes and dislikes is another way to really hone into what's yours and what is someone else's influence, especially if we're very, very open in that Venusian energy. Many people who are empathic find it challenging to identify what they really enjoy doing if all their time is spent up and out of their body, you know, subconsciously allowing others into their energy fields, as they're always tuned into meeting other people's needs. When you work on your root chakra or engage in grounding practices that make you feel good and are helpful and healthy for you, you're going to begin to see more of a marked clarity in the messages that you're receiving from spirit. All right. And finally, we have this, again, Dioptes, I think, this heart healing card. And that to me is associated with the heart chakra. So if there are lingering emotional situations that need processing, this is the nudge from your spirit team to do so. I mean, healing is a lifelong journey. You're always a healer too, as I mentioned. So the more you do your own healing work, then the stronger of a healer you become for other people. Yeah. And I think just because of how strong your energy is, group one, you're going to be able to go deep here. The heart chakra is definitely showing up for me as an area that is powerful for you. It's quite strong. And I see this supported in these prior cards, which indicate those healing abilities. This is, again, on the same stack as we had the death card, which was your healing card there. And underneath we had the Seven of Pentacles, which to me, again, indicated those like strong roots that are there. So it's all there for you. And again, if we're talking healing, it could be hands-on healing, energy work, or more subtle emotional work. So there's a little something maybe to explore there for you. And yeah, I think that's what's coming through for that portion. We just have the last couple little messages to look at here for you, group one. Okay. So we have Needle. Isn't that cool? This is from the Empyrean Oracle by Threads of Fate. And we have the Central Sun, Abundance Downloads, Regeneration, Success. I feel like I want to put these here. Okay. Yeah, so Needle. This is the time to use a little bit of the boss energy, the Capricorn energy, for focus and intention, particularly if you've been off track or off kilter for a bit, because the Needle's about using that intention to move forward toward a goal. So if you want to develop your gifts, decide on a course of action. If you've been watching a lot of pick-a-card readings on intuitive gifts, for example, how do you move forward from that and move into your next steps? What would your next steps look like? What can you do to begin your intuitive journey? Maybe it's reading up on something a little bit more. Maybe it's taking a course. If you're a more experienced intuitive, where can you shift your focus so that you are centered and back on track? So you want to harness a touch of this boss energy and make a plan for yourself so that you are making the most of your time. Yeah. Like take a class you're interested in, do some reading about intuitive development. I think I said that already. Get a practice partner. If it and it doesn't have to be a huge plan, so you're not overwhelmed. Just some steps forward on the path that you feel best suits you. And the central sun here is a reminder that you have your own galaxy of infinite potentials within you. You can tap into your own sun at the center of the space and allow yourself to bask in its warmth as your own energy revitalizes you. Yeah, this is like your solar plexus here. Spend some time getting to know your own energy and what it feels like, because we can feel it. Know that you're divinely protected. Yeah. There's so much power within you. And any intuitive gift you want to develop, you're going to be successful, group one. Absolutely. All it takes is intention and some forward movement. And most of all, again, have fun. All right? Enjoy the journey. And that is what is coming through for you today. If you feel drawn to another pile, now is the time to go check that out. And I just want to thank you so much for being here with us, group one. Why don't you claim this group in the comment box with a little, a little friendly goat emoji to represent Capricorn. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange today, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others if you found the reading of value. And that's all for this reading today. Much love to you, group one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends. Hello, my friends. You picked the Bumblebee Jasper to represent group two's energy. And I've already done an overview of what to expect in this reading in the intro. So if you missed that, you can head back over to check that out if you have any questions. And in the meantime, we're going to just dive right into the first portion of the reading today, which is getting that pulse, that feeling for what your energy is like. And as this is a general reading, please just take what resonates and applies for you at this time. Leave the rest for others on their respective journeys. And as we get into this, I'm asking you to take a moment to pause, take a few deep breaths, and center yourself as we begin. From this place, your energy is going to naturally connect and bridge with the rest of the group 2. So give a little hi or a hello to your fellow group 2 members and feel their welcome greetings back to you. Okay, here we go, friends. All right, so the Mountain and Sagittarius, the voyeur, enthusiastic, philosophical, independent, generous, ethical, seeking, happy-go-lucky, adventurous, honest, bareback, unbridled, experimental, lucky, boundless, traveling, risk-taking, tactless, self-righteous. And Cancer, the doula, feeling, sympathetic, comforting, nostalgic, protective, intuitive, birthing, tender, nocturnal, caring, moody, receptive, lunar, sentimental, introverted, defensive, family-oriented. All right. Lovely, lovely. So, okay, let's talk. The first thing I get, group 2, when tuning into your energy is a signature or a frequency that is like a cocoon. Yeah, it's perfectly designed just for you and, just for me. And anyone else who's tuning into your energy would say the same thing, that your energy is a perfect cocoon just for you and just for them too. It's a very magical kind of sensation. I feel like with this mountain here that I could literally just fall into this card. It's got a very dreamy quality to it. It's very introspective. It's deeply protective. It's secretive, restorative, reverent. It's like meditating at night to the light of a single candle, and it's perfectly still. But there's also, like, look at the outside here, we also have this wild and like fierce quality to this as well. And it's like your energy is in tune with the most untamed parts of our world and the universe. There's this enthusiastic, like no holds barred and adventurous quality to this as well with the Sag. You may attract some very interesting people to you as a result of this. Or some very interesting entities, at the very minimum. I could sense a lack of judgment on your part. So perhaps you see things or experience things that others do not, because you see all parts of the spectrum and you just allow things to be what they are. This doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. You definitely do. Or you've had to learn to establish boundaries, especially if you have things bugging you that go bump in the night. So this little window goes deeply into the heart of the mountain, and that's your window of receptivity. You may not allow everyone in. You may not allow everything in, but those you do are deeply cherished. This also extends to energies. Positive energies are welcome, but those that give you pause are immediately booted out. Not from a place of judgment, just one of, no, this isn't a place for you. Yeah. This place is where we find the sensitive and receptive side of your energy, Cancer. Yeah. This aspect of your energy here runs deep. Still waters run deep. That's the phrase that's coming to mind for you. So people may have to work a little to see or to sense this window, as your energy is predominantly one of a projector with an incredibly palpable aura. They sense this very still and mountain-like energy to your presence. But once inside, right there, this tiny golden window, that's where we sense the connection with the universe and all living things. And it's fantastic. It's magical. It's radiant. It's a beautiful, warm energy that envelopes the senses, and it makes one feel safe. Words that people might use to describe your energy would be gigantic or enormous, ginormous, glowing, warm, safe, allowing, shimmering, pulsing, in tune, one, strong, free, mighty, and wild are all coming to mind. I mean, I'm sure there's like many, many more there. And while some of those words sound like opposites, our energy and aura change depending on a lot of factors, and that can include mood or what is currently happening in our lives. So sometimes your energy is going to be a little more tender and a little more open, like the window, and other times it's going to be fierce and unconquerable, like the mountain and the untamed environment that's around it. And also, I want to mention the song that's been teasing the edges of my brain as we're talking about this is Cocoon by Mark Sandman, and I will link that in the comments or in the description box. It has just like this mellow and rich feel to it, like listening to it at night, sitting back while you're on your own, just kind of relaxing and enjoying things. Got the mood lighting, maybe you have your favorite beverage in hand. It's just that same kind of energy that your energy offers to others, is this very palpable and welcome invitation, come in, like I have a seat just for you. Yeah. All right, nice. So that's kind of what's coming through for your energy. You know, don't forget about our little kind of explorative side there as well. It's definitely there, that wildness. I want to talk now about your actual intuitive gifts. So we're going to hop into the tarot portion, and we're using Radiant Wilds Tarot. I had to check there. All right. So let's take a look. We have Page of Wands, the Seven of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. Okay, these make me feel like I'm going on an adventure. So some of you watching, I think, are actually just stepping into your intuitive gifts, as we see here with the page. It's a beginning for you. You may be just starting to see things shift for you. Perhaps you're noticing the power that you walk with and the impact that that power has. You have room here to grow, to learn, for sure. Yeah, the path in front of you is open with many, many opportunities. Group 2. Yes, yes. Yeah, there's a strong energy for all of you if we look across all of these cards of manifestation. Definitely. Maybe even the choice of the deck here, because this is all like a desert kind of landscape. There's that fiery quality to it as well. So I'm just getting that manifesting is coming through as an intuitive gift for you. And I think part of this is due also to you being such a hefty projector. You're an energetic projector. You have a strong impact on energy around you. You create a ripple effect in your environment which pulses out into the universe, and it's impossible to ignore that kind of siren's call. This would be a gift that is innate, meaning it's in you, it's part of you, it's something you've likely always had, and you may have not realized that. And if you're new to this idea of manifestation or manifesting, you might look up resources on the law of attraction or check out some other resources on this idea. When we manifest, we are basically creating our reality using our energy and its frequency to pull in what we desire to us. So whether it's wealth, whether it's a new car, people, a vacation, experiences, these are things that can be manifested. And that's not to imply that, you know, people don't have free will. It's just, there's a little more to it than that. But this ability to manifest and co-create with the universe lies within you. Yeah. When we talk about manifestation, we have to remember that what we desire and what we want are not always what we need. And so the universe will adjust accordingly. So you might pause for a moment here and start to think and review your own experiences and see if anything comes to mind where the universe delivered something to you. And to take it further, you might then categorize the experience. Was it something you wanted or desired, or was it something that you needed? And just see what you come up with there. And if you're so inclined, you can share some of those experiences in the comments with us. Now, along these lines, we also have a gift of influence here. That is another bit of a energetic gift that's here for you with the Seven of Swords. Because your energy is so big and because it's so palpable, you can lean into energetic possibilities, and you can also then influence the outcome. So this is interesting. This definitely didn't come up with the other group. This may be conscious or it may be unconscious. You may actively participate in influence through like education, sharing information, law of attraction, acts of kindness, spells, charms, witchcraft, even using your voice. That word siren popped up before. I almost hear you like singing or, you know, speaking in a way that is healing or has a little something extra to it. Or you may unconsciously influence others or energetic outcomes by the way you carry yourself and your very powerful auric field. You want to be careful with this as not to venture into territory that could be considered manipulative, because everything is just so powerful for you. And speaking of big auras, we do have the Eight of Swords here. And yeah, this is, here, look at the visual on this. This is like your auric field right here, the spiral outward from the figure in the center of the card. This is what I'm talking about with the mountain energy. Oh, I didn't even see this in the rainbow that's coming up there. It's almost like you broadcast where you are, and that's how others sense you. And when I say others, this could run the gamut, as I mentioned earlier. Some examples might include people, animals for some of you, if that's a particular frequency that's meaningful to you, children. Some of you are definitely mediums. Spirits may be attracted to you, spirit guides, angels, other entities, because you're a lighthouse. You might take another moment and just reflect here, what unique experiences have you had with other individuals, whether, again, those are people, animals, spooky stuff. Was it pleasant? Was it maybe a little unpleasant? Run-ins with a certain type of individual? And part of this is just due to this huge aura of yours and the vibration it's emanating at this particular time. You're a huge energetic projector, and it definitely gets you noticed. Yeah. All right, let's see what other gifts are coming through at this time. We have the Knight of Wands. The Three of Wands. And the Five of Cups. I'm gonna take a drink. Okay, so when you set your mind to something group 2, it happens very quickly for you, as we see here with the Knight of Wands. No doubt, because of the power of your manifesting abilities, you may get in your own way at times if you're not seeing the whole picture of something. So like Cancer, there may be a tendency to retreat at times, to go into your shell, go into the heart of the mountain. And if you spend most of your time focused internally, you're not always going to connect all the dots, find all the pieces in the external world. So you want to make sure that you are balanced between going within and then, also connecting without, as we see here with the Knight of Wands and the Three of Wands. Inward and outward. Also, physical movement is probably a nice way for you to clear stuck energies in your aura and in your chakra system. You're somebody who may do well with systems if you're learning to work with your intuition. And what I mean by that is just like a body of knowledge or learning that's already established and in place. So for Reiki, for example, when you go to learn Reiki, there's a specific way you're kind of learning it, taking it in. You can trace the lineage back to the original person that channeled the Reiki, came up with the Reiki. Just for example, I do think many of you here would be very readily able to tap into healing potential to help others move on after difficult decisions, which is what I'm getting with the Five of Cups. So you may also be gifted in remaining neutral when there is a type of conflict, and as a result, others come to you with their troubles. We mentioned earlier how your energy has a neutrality to it. Because of the projecting nature of your energy with this deep wellspring of a heart, you would be an absolutely magnificent healer. Absolutely wonderful. Beginning with some kind of, again, structured foundational basis, that's going to be a great way to organize your thoughts and to assist you in focusing on one system, which is going to help you tap into that central healing channel quite solidly and in a very grounded manner, so things aren't too, loosey-goosey all over the place. I do see you as being able to go quite far with hands-on kinds of healing or energy work, if this is something you're interested in. So maybe investigate a little bit, sign up for a class nearby. You can even do things like this online if you wish, with someone whose energy feels right to you. And look at reviews too if you need to do that as well. I've got one more set of cards here for you. Let's see what else is coming through. Okay, we have the Devil. And we have the Five of Swords. And we also have the Eight of Wands. Okay. So the Devil, the Five of Swords, the Eight of Wands. Yeah, so remember what I said about animals. Some of you may be adept with animal communication or knowing what an animal needs or wants at a particular time. And this could include healing animals as well, or just knowing what needs to happen for them, what changes need to be made. Just realized you probably can't see this. We're going to pop that up there. You also likely have very strong clairsentience, I want to say. So clairsentience is essentially clear feeling. It's feeling in the body in a physiological sense, and then also a feeling of emotions. And these feelings, the physical and emotional feelings, are influenced or created by outside sources that are at times seen or at times unseen. It just depends. So basically this means like other people, animals, places, objects, and within that, when I talk about objects, you might have a strength with natural objects, so things Mother Nature's created like crystals, rocks, trees, plants, herbs, flowers, that kind of thing. I'm just getting that for this particular group. And so what these things do is they create sensations or emotions in your body, okay? And so this is also true of unseen sources like spirit angels, spirit guides, earthbound entities, etc., especially if you have those kinds of mediumship tendencies. And so what that can feel like is like your chest may get tight when, say, you're out at a restaurant and you realize like, oh, this isn't me or the food. I'm not actually sick, but there's someone next to me who's like having indigestion, or if they've got, maybe they need to take a pill. You may feel like you have an elephant standing on your chest when you encounter a ghost or an earthbound spirit. That's what it feels like for me. Crystals may make your palms tingle. And they may uplift your mood too. Angels may make you weep with their beauty and the peace that they bring with them. And I'm using some kind of like extreme language here, because if this sounds like a lot, it really doesn't need to be, especially if you're very empathic. I mean, we talked about that with like the Cancer and the way that you can go deep. You can just simply ask your spirit guides to tune down any kind of messages or like overactive empathy that's coming through for you, at a particular moment. Because clairsentience is a very beautiful gift, and it can be a little overwhelming, especially if you're new to working with it. But just remember, you ultimately have sovereignty over your body, you have sovereignty over your energy. You do not have to experience anything extra that you don't want to. And with time, with patience, your clairsentience can begin to inform you quite a bit about the external world. You just need to be in the heart of the mountain, in the receptive state, centered in that heart space for clear reception. Okay? Because I can see that it's there based off of what we have here. Even though you are a strong projector, you still can receive, and receive quite a bit. So when you're in that receptive state or space, you may receive downloads of information. That's what I'm seeing here, through the intuitive sense known as claircognizance. Yeah. So claircognizance is clear knowing, and it can be kind of a tricky intuitive sense to work with, as we don't always have the visual data that, say, clairvoyance might bring to us, or the exact words we'd hear with clairaudience, or the voices. But this is knowing without knowing where or why we know. You have basically this really nice clear channel that you're working with. We can see that, to receive information from spirit. And I feel like it's especially strong when it comes to very grounded, earthier, like practical matters, such as like sussing out people's intentions, or, who's a good person to, I think I just whistled when I said who. Who's a good person to invite into your life, and who isn't. You may also see this very clearly for other people. Like, hey, buddy, you shouldn't be dating that person. And they may or may not want to hear the information. So, It's definitely there. And I think when you decide to start to develop or work on your intuitive gifts, things are going to really unfold rapidly for you. Yeah. Fast, fast, fast. But again, you want to keep your practice meaningful to you and begin with an exploration of an area, again, that has a nice, tight kind of foundation and focus, like I'd mentioned Reiki earlier. Any other kind of teaching that's not loosey-goosey. So check out teachers who have experience, but also, look for those who instruct with organization and support, like client support, student support. From there, you may begin to branch off into other things and other topics, work with other people. But I feel like your energy, group 2, would be best matched with somebody who's a little more practical, okay? And finally, be sure to keep moving where you can. Again, physical movement, being outside, it's very grounding and it's naturally clearing for your energy. And your energy resonates with nature and the planet, with big open spaces and with movement. Yeah. All right. So we've got quite a bit going on there in terms of intuitive gifts and talents. And now I'd like to hop into our little chakra talk section and see what some of your chakras are saying right now. So we have Azurite and expanded awareness. We have Aquamarine and communication. And Clear Quartz purification. Beautiful. Okay. These are great. Nice. Okay. Wow. So yeah, this is interesting because Spirit wants to keep the chat about your upper chakras because we've got third eye, throat, and crown represented to me. So as I mentioned earlier, your crown chakra, or the central channel, runs deep within you. We've said that a few times. It's visualized as the heart of the mountain. It is that energy. So you bring a depth and an authenticity with your energy. It's just beautiful, and it's also very astonishing, I think, to a lot of people. So you may find it takes a moment to quiet your mind when it's time to sit and connect, to get centered, or even just to get in touch to receive messages. But Spirit wants to remind you that this is still within your grasp. It's within your reach. It's something that you can do. We mentioned some ideas earlier for boosting your intuitive antenna, and that includes staying grounded, spending time outside, movement as you can, working within an established system as you're learning new intuitive practice. And when you give yourself those gifts and lean into that, then you will grow leaps and bounds for sure, especially with the right teacher supporting you. And I'm also hearing that you should make sure that you keep your energy clear, whether you're clearing your energetic field on your own, whether you are getting work done by somebody else. This will help you relax into yourself and be a little more receptive to what Spirit is sending your way. Also establishing a meditation practice to help you focus and tune in. It's going to be beneficial, yeah, for you, as well as bridging both the upper and the lower chakras. We want to have that connection there for sure. So I'm being pulled to this Azurite card, expanded awareness, and this is the energy of the third eye. It has to do with perception, okay? And Spirit is saying not to be too hard on yourself when it comes to developing your intuitive gifts. Do not compare yourself to others either, because we're all very unique when it comes to energy, okay? And just because someone else sees things in a way that you wish you did, or hears things more clearly, or connects to deceased loved ones very easily, it doesn't make their gift any better or worse than what you have going on. Plus, we can develop everything. So just begin to monitor your perception of yourself regarding your own intuitive ability. See if you can catch any little, if it's not a direct dialogue where you're maybe thinking negatively or talking negatively to yourself, maybe there's just a little hint of something in there. Because you have so much potential here to grow and to learn, as we saw. And that was one of the first things we talked about with that page. Yeah, all of the cards, I think, from the tarot portion in your reading here really reflect this ability to grow, okay? And when you develop in one area, it may lead you to another and then to something else that's completely different. Something you never thought that was in the cards for you. And again, keep in mind, not all teachers will be effective with each student who comes to them, so keep your perceptions clear when it comes to others. So for example, you may have a friend who's raving about a wonderful teacher that they had for some kind of workshop or whatever. But if the teacher's methodology mainly focuses on clairvoyance, for example, it's easy for students who haven't developed their clairvoyance yet to feel left out. Okay? They may feel like I'm a failure, like I can't connect at all, but if the whole weekend or experience is just around seeing with your third eye and you aren't there yet, you're probably not going to connect with the material or even necessarily want to come back. But again, this is a yet. We want to remember that word yet. All right, so keep a growth mindset in place when it comes to your intuitive work. And if you want to open up clairvoyance more, start with a mindset shift. You have room to do this, group 2. Adjust your perceptions to a healthy place for where you are right now. Acknowledge the gifts that you do have. Give yourself some love. You deserve that. But also remember that clairvoyance isn't always as clear as people say it is or as it is in the movies, okay? Especially in the movies. Like when you begin, it can look muddy, it can look dark. Images can move very rapidly. You start seeing nothing, and then you start to see maybe a little bit of mud, like a little bit of color. And that's a shift, that's a start, okay? So you might explore using guided chakra meditations that open and close the chakras and see what happens. That's actually how I started to open my clairvoyance up. There are many intuitive teachers out there who offer those types of recordings. There are great ones that are out there. And just see where this leads you. You know, are you being drawn to work with a particular person? Is there a class you'd like to take or an area you'd like to explore and research? And for those who like reading to learn, I included a link to my intuitive development articles in the description box below, so you can just read and kind of see where you are with particular clairs and how they might manifest in your life, what signs to look for, and then how you can work on them. And a spirit wants you to recognize the powerful individual you are and to start making this recognition a daily practice. So be aware of your perceptions. And when you start to see yourself a little more fairly, some of the cloudiness that exists at the level of your third eye is going to be just removed, like a veil. And remember that our inner work can influence our inner vision as well. And finally, we have the aquamarine and communication, and that's the throat chakra. And I want to say your throat chakra is very powerful. Yes, yes, yes. The expressive language matches the energy of your aura. It's very resonant, very much projective. And that, I think, is also tied to the area of influence, that gift of influence we spoke of earlier as well. So Spirit's emphasizing the connection between all three of these chakras, all your upper chakras here. When you work on your inner and outer perceptions, your crown chakra opens up, messages are more easily understood, your antenna can hone in on them more quickly and with more clarity. And this will in turn influence your expressive and receptive language. Things are heard and received with coherency, and you'll be able to better manifest and see those results more quickly. And I see you better able to reach a flow state and to stay there as well. Communication difficulties you may have had before, they'll melt away, and your song rises from you and it harmonizes beautifully with the universe. Ooh, that's exciting. I have goosebumps. Okay, so we're going to close things up with last messages regarding your intuitive abilities. So we have here flow. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I don't know, can you see that change? There you go. It's so fun. I would just play with these all day. That is the Empyrean Oracle from Threads of Fate. And we also have I Am Presence, Light Body Activation, Accessing the Divine Within. Okay, so ultimately group 2, I want to say, know that your intuitive gifts are quite natural and they're very commanding. If you pause in your practice, know that they're not going to go anywhere, okay? Everything in life has its own rhythmic ebb and flow, and sometimes things feel a little easier than others, and it's okay to pause from time to time and to come back to something with fresh eyes. And when you're ready and you've got that open heart, you can see what you're eager to tackle next. Yeah.
or perhaps lean into that beautiful central channel of yours. Lean into your own divinity and openly ask, all right, what's next, Spirit? Yeah. So that is what is coming through for you today. And now is the time, if you're drawn to another pile, go ahead and go check that out. And I just want to thank you so much for being here with us. Claim your group in the comment box below. Let's do your favorite mountain emoji to represent your energy. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange today, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others if you found the reading of value. All right, that's all for my reading today. Much love to you, group 2, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends. Hello, friends. You picked the Malachite to represent group 3's energy in our reading today, and I've already done the overview of what you could expect from this reading in the introduction. So if you missed that and you want to hear what to expect today, you can go back and check that out if you would like to. We're going to hop right into the first part of the reading, which is finding kind of like the frequency of your energy, its pulse, the way that it expresses itself in the world, and how people might experience you in a variety of ways. So do remember, again, this is general, and take what applies for you this time and just leave the rest for others on their respective journeys. And before we begin, I'm going to ask you to pause for a moment. We're going to slow down for a second here. Just take a few deep breaths and center yourself as we begin. And from this centered place, your energy will naturally connect with the rest of the group. So say hello to your fellow group 3 members, and then feel that welcome greeting coming back to you from them as well. All right, friends, here we go. We have the Hunter, fourth house, roots, family, home, background, comfort, cooking, inner world, real estate, shelter, self-care, rejuvenation, habits, and shell. And we also have Mars with action, desire, impulses, courage, force, heat, strength, competition, workouts, excitement, thirst, impatient, anger, leadership, engine, potency, willpower, motor, sex drive. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Okay. Man, oh man. What's interesting to me is that all of the groups thus far have had big impact energy, every single one of you. But each one of you has also been incredibly unique at the same time. And this is no exception, group 3. Before we get into the feeling of your energy, I want to talk about the fourth house here, the roots. Yeah, the past. Let's talk about the past a little bit. So first of all, I want to say that you may actually have a known lineage of intuitives or mediums in your ancestry. Okay. Perhaps it was embraced. Perhaps it was suppressed, depending on where you're coming from. And you may have talked about it and connected with family regarding these intuitive gifts, or it may have been completely hushed and kind of squashed down. It just really depends on, where you're from and who you're from. There's strength here mixed with perhaps some unconsciousness is what I'm feeling. So you may be aware of these strong intuitive roots in your family tree, or you may not be aware of them at all. Perhaps some gifts manifested in others, and your family would just like brush it off as, oh, Uncle Harry is had, I don't know why he's Uncle Harry. Uncle Harry has, had some pretty unique or marvelous experiences. Cousin Candy's had the same thing. Things happening around them or to them, but a picture isn't necessarily painted of, Uncle Harry or Cousin Candy having particular gifts, so to speak. Just, oh, these things happen to them. And so for some of you, this world was also totally normalized. Okay, and it may have been a little odd when moving, into the physical world, starting to interact maybe as a child, with other friends. You may have assumed, oh, everybody else has, these types of dreams, or they all have invisible friends that they can see and hear and communicate with. And it may have been a bit of surprise to you when you realized others weren't as open as you. And it made you feel perhaps maybe a little bit like an outsider, or others may view you also as being a little dreamy and intense at the same time. And so the intensity of your energy and the way it can be focused quite powerfully, as we have, the Hunter and Mars right here, it's just that, all right? It's dreamy and it's also intense. You're somebody that others probably do not want to mess with. Have you heard the song Hunter by Bjork? I can't get it out of my head while I'm tuned into you. It's like on repeat in the background here in my inner ear. The song's intensity, like the music itself, it matches your energy. And I'm going to link the video in the description box. It's like a wild kind of video. It's very well done. It was done way back in like the late 90s. And the kind of focused energy in the song mirrors some of what you have going on here. And some of, I don't know what she's singing about. Like, I feel like you also should not be boxed in either. You are meant to have freedom, because when you have freedom, group 3, that is when you're in your power. So, for instance, if you decided to solely do intuitive work for other people, you're so good, you'd likely be in high demand as a result. Absolutely. But you may find it tiring, or that it pulls on your reserves. You may lose your focus. You may become irritated over time. The more free you are of others' influence, the more fiery you can be, and the more accurate and resonant that your messages are going to be. You're like an undomesticated and wild animal in this sense. Like, you're meant to live freely. You're not meant for other people's cages. So I would describe your energy as fierce, as laser-focused, intense, profound, as driven, rhythmic, like a pulsing heartbeat, and a very strong one at that. Very natural, very earthy, and just flipping huge. It's like a machine, or it's like the tides. It's just always moving forward. It's relentless, and I just keep seeing this beating heart. You have the heartbeat of the earth, like strumming and echoing through you as I trip over my words. Wow, yeah. I would say this group is composed of very powerful energy projectors. Others can feel you. They know that you're coming before they actually see you. And sometimes projectors miss receiving information. They miss that kind of receptive quality because there's just so much going out. That is not the case for you. I see you as actually being quite balanced, or having such an energetically open lineage and ancestry that receiving messages and information from, like, the dearly departed, for example, is actually pretty easy for you. It's almost like something is switched on in your DNA that allows you to not have to think too much about receiving energy, or to like, I've got to sit down, meditate, and really focus on this to see what's coming through. You're able to pick up on it. You're able to read it. You can do what you want with the information received. Another way to look at this is it's also possible you've had strong intuitive leanings in past lifetimes, and it's as though you've carried the sum total of those experiences with you into this lifetime, so that you don't have to work so hard at reception, at receiving energy, at reading energy, because the background and foundation is already established quite strongly for you. I want to say that your energy is also self-possessed. You occupy your aura nicely. It's like you're right smack in the middle of it. You aren't leaning too far forward into like other people. You're not too far back, or you're holding others at arm's length either. You take up your own space, and you likely don't think twice about it. I don't even think you're worried about any of this, whereas some sensitives and empaths would struggle with this quite a bit more. You're quite energetically full, okay? And I feel it would be hard for others, people in spirit, to move into your space. You're not likely to have too many energetic cords or energetic hitchhikers. There just isn't room for them with you. You sort of kind of like bowl them over with your presence, and you would leave them feeling a little dazed and confused, like, who's this fascinating human with the incredible aura? You may have some admirers, and equally likely you may fascinate or frighten others with your aura at the same time. It's really quite impressive. Okay, so group 3, that's what's coming through about your general energy and your auric presence. And I'd like to take a look at some of your intuitive gifts through the tarot next. I have a feeling that we have got some very, very powerfully intuitive folks here. And we have the Magician to begin with. All right. That's not surprising. The Hierophant, so another major. And the Page of Cups. Yeah, all right. So some of your gifts are represented by these cards, and, you know, 2 out of 3 of these cards are majors, and that's a big indicator of your raw power here and specific strength. So the Magician, yeah, let's start here. One of those, gifts is this affinity for what we would call magic in general. Yeah, just magic. I'm getting magic vibes, like spell work. Literally, like, that's what this deck is, the Modern Witch Tarot, right? This represents you to a T. The Magician here is the figure for the artwork on the box, on this particular deck. So you have everything you need in front of you to make the magic happen. It's all there. And part of that is, through the roots, through the ancestry, through the lineage. You have a very strong connection and affinity for what I think Mother Nature creates. I see you working with, like, I've got a little bit of moss here and a little spider web there, stones and crystals. A fallen leaf, a flower, pure fresh water, just things that you may harvest ethically from Mother Nature, like on a daily walk, for example. Perhaps you create spell or manifestation jars for yourself, or others. I think people would really feel the energy coming from those bits of magic you might choose to share here and there. Like that, there's a very strong resonance there for you. And I do see you working in tandem with Mother Nature, not hurting her, not hurting animals. This closeness and awareness to Mother Nature only serves to amplify what you naturally have. And this is built into a foundation of being able to naturally use the law of attraction, likely without thinking about it. It's just sort of there. So I think manifesting and magic are a big part of what you can do, group 3. I need a drink. Okay, so the Hierophant, to me, is layering the familial and, like the lineage aspect to this, because there are very intuitive gifts running through the family tree. And what I'm seeing is both a white thread and a red thread here that mark you. And the red stands for blood and biology, and the white stands for adoptive or fostered family. Yeah. So if you're someone who's drawn to this group and you're not with your family of origin, keep in mind that your own gifts have been activated possibly by the adoptive family in your life. It could be adoptive parents, through fostering experiences, or even family, your chosen friends' family. And it's like a key was turned on in a lock, which then opened you up to these inherited energetic gifts. So it doesn't have to come from blood. It's as simple as an experience or a person or a group who just, turns that key for you. And this could also indicate an initiation into a kind of intuitive or magical practice. So these inherited gifts may fall under the umbrella of mediumship. We kind of have been talking about that, like talking to spirits, deceased individuals, earthbounds, and ghosts. Seeing and hearing guides or angels, elementals, or other beings not of our earth plane. It could also be an affinity for healing or shamanism, witchcraft, being a root worker, or practicing hoodoo, for example. It will depend on who's watching this. So I just want you to know that there is a powerful lineage that you are a part of. Okay? You are magic, and you have been claimed as part of a whole. So in addition to like the white and red threads that I often see in situations like this, I also get the visual of hands on your shoulder, okay? Like a person standing behind you with their hands on your shoulder, and then there is somebody else with their hands on that person's shoulder, and then behind them is another individual with their hands on their shoulder. And so it forms this line of individuals, and the line reaches back like across time, space, many, many miles, perhaps even oceans. And I see this vision where there has literally been a claiming, okay? Your ancestors or this group claim you as one of their own. You are part of something beautiful and powerful. And within that space, whatever the space is, you know, we talked about mediumship, we talked about other things within this, like, you know, hoodoo or whatever it is, you are truly part of something that's magical and powerful. You know, it's there that you're shining. And the Page of Cups is showing us there's actually room to grow in whatever it is that you do. So maybe you have an inkling about some of these things, but you're just not there yet, okay? You can always lean in, you can listen to the whisper, you can practice something new or see, you know, where you need to place your attention next. For as naturally radiant as you are, there's always room to learn. There's always room to expand, to discover new things. And that little fish that's peeking up in the cup on the Page of Cups there is telling me to pass on a message, to listen to the whisper. So follow that nudge at the edge of your understanding. You know, there is a bit of a psychic lean to this gift. Perhaps this is about leaning more into intuition and practicing following the messages from your gut, from your ancestors, from your guides. Especially if you felt a little cut off. You know, part of your message here today may be that, you know, you're loved, you're accepted, you're part of something very big. You are treasured, and it's time to listen to that, you know, to be open to it and to the messages that are coming through. Because the more you play with your intuition, the stronger it becomes and the stronger of a practitioner you can be. Yeah, so you are a very modern witch here with a particular set of inherited practices and strengths, and you have a very strong intuition as well. I'd like to see what else is coming through for you. Okay, so we have the 10 of Wands in reverse, the 3 of Wands, and the 2 of Pentacles. Lovely. Okay. Yeah, so intuitive reception is not an issue for you, even though you lean heavily into intuitive and energetic projection. You are very, very nicely balanced between the two. Yeah, and you can manage intuitive work in a way that may leave others like a little bit odd. So with the 10 of Wands in this position, you'll notice that, you know, they're ordinarily a heavy burden. And in this instance, it's like the load just slips right out of the hands. The flow is easy for you to tap into. And the 3 of Wands is showing me clairvoyance or clear seeing, which is the intuitive perception of energy via your third eye chakra. It's when you receive mental images, photos, movies in your mind's eye from outside sources. And these can be unseen sources, in addition to just being outside of you. So an example of seen source energy would be energy that comes from other people or animals, places, or things. You can pick up information for others by being in their proximity, or if somebody asks you to tune in. Unseen sources refers to what you can't see with your naked eyes. So that's the spirits and the spirit guides and the angels and elementals and deceased loved ones we've been talking about, you know, other entities as well. You may be so clairvoyant you actually don't realize it. I could easily see that, because sometimes there are individuals who are just so in tune with their gifts, they're not even aware when they're kicking in. They just think, oh, that's just my imagination. But the informational flow is just so open with you. Things just click. You may even assume, again, that it's your imagination, but I can guarantee you that it's not. You are absolutely what we would say a natural. In some instances, even the most natural light workers suppress or turn off their gifts for any number of reasons. So if you find yourself arguing with me a little bit, like, no, I'm not any of those things, consider that you may have suppressed some of your clairs. Or you're such a natural you don't even notice these intuitive downloads are happening for you. And so you might want to pause and just spend a little time digging into it, because there is a treasure here for you, and it's just waiting to be unearthed. And so remember that clairvoyance can be as simple as seeing colors, or as big as seeing highly detailed movies in your mind. It can be seeing text. It can be seeing things that happen quite quickly. and it can also look very foggy and very, very dark. With practice and development, it can open up into things that are much more decodable, and this may be that intuitive gift we spoke about with that little fish and the Page of Cups card. Yeah, there's definitely something that has a little room to grow, and I think your clairvoyance definitely has the capability of being quite strong, no matter where you are in its development. And I also want to add that you may be adept in herbalism or plant medicine, that I'm getting from the Two of Pentacles here, because I see a connection for healing with this, finding balance. So you may be happiest when your hands are actually literally in the dirt. Being close to the earth is grounding. It'll help magnify your abilities, clear your aura if it needs it, and you can likely see which plant, what it needs to grow, and then also the best combinations of plants maybe for your needs or the needs of other people. You may also consider yourself a kitchen witch. You might create your own herbal teas or put a little magic and love into your cooking or baking. And others would be able to feel this. They may love what you're putting out there. They're just kind of drawn to it. I'm also getting claircognizance associated with this, as claircognizance is the intuitive energy sensing aspect of the mind, or clear knowing. And so you may receive intuitive downloads of knowledge from outside sources. If you combine this with your clairvoyance, you'll be able to see who's presenting this knowledge to you. Yeah. So very highly gifted. There's a lot happening here. And I would say, not that the other groups aren't highly gifted, they absolutely are. It's just that this is coming through in a very powerful kind of way, and in a way that you likely don't have to do as much work to develop where you are. Okay, it is time to take a look at chakras, so a little chakra talk, and see what's strong, where you might need a little TLC, kind of what's coming up for you. And so we have Herkimer Diamond, I think. I should know how to say that. Amethyst and black tourmaline. Okay. Oof. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Okay. So I'm not sensing any particular blocks, honestly, with any of your chakras at this time. I'm not getting that there's anything major that needs worked on. In fact, your crown chakra and your third eye are being emphasized. So to me, this just further supports the idea that you're already very receptive to spirit and intuitive guidance, that you're naturally a receiver. You don't have to do anything, even though you also project very strongly. So it's like you have a lot of action going on in those upper chakras, so therefore you need a very strong tether to the earth, and that's where this black tourmaline is coming in. Yeah, and this is the first time I've ever gotten this. I would say this isn't even the root. I would call this the Earth Star Chakra. It's about a foot, I think. Yeah, like 12 inches below your feet, I believe. Maybe it's 7 to 12 inches, something like that. It's an extension of your etheric body, essentially. So it roots your entire chakra system. And this rootedness and this earthiness is being emphasized for you here, I think, just because of how much is going on in the upper chakras. So it could be that some of you benefit from grounding and earthing to keep your energy clear, literally just putting your feet in some soil or in the sand. But I also see the black tourmaline card is showing the unique balance you have already going on between those busy, humming kind of upper chakras. And then remember we talked about the drumming open heartbeat of the earth that resonates through your system. So it's like the Earth Star is the root of your earthly power. And again, I've never actually talked about this in any reading before whatsoever. You are the first. So you may want to look into this chakra, look it up, do a little research on it, just to learn more, because it's not part of the 7 main chakras, but it's secondary, or it's like subpersonal, I think it's called, something along those lines. I do want to circle back to the crown chakra, as the Herkimer Diamond card is mentioning dreams here. So dreams may be something that you use to receive powerful guidance. If you don't have a dreaming practice currently, this may also be something to do a little research into. Grabbing a journal, maybe even looking up things like astral projection or lucid dreaming. There may be some things for you to try. Yeah, so no major blocks or anything that, needs digging into. I'm not getting that right now. So what I'd like to do is wrap things up with last messages regarding your intuitive abilities. Take a drink of water. Okay. So we have Ether. This is the Empyrean Oracle from Threads of Fate. I'm just so excited I can play with those cards all day. And we have Crown Chakra Upgrade, Divine Connection, Holy Experiences, Miraculous Energy. Yeah. That does not surprise me. Yeah, your energy's wild. Ether itself here is just such an intense card, and it perfectly sums up how truly powerful and connected you are, tapped into universal energy and all that we are. And the crown chakra upgrade carries with it the message of preparedness. Just be ready, group 3, because you're likely already experiencing you are about to experience some kind of upgrade or shift in your energy and the way that you experience energy. Pulling you closer to this just powerful and vibrant and unforgettable magnetism that you embody. Yeah, you do amazing things, and you can do amazing things, group 3. Be open to this brilliant and kind of wild ride that your intuitive gifts are unfurling. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, so that's what's coming through for you today. If you feel drawn to another pile, now is the time to go check that out. And I just want to thank you so much for being here with us. Claim your group in the comment box below with because we're the hunter, the bow and arrow emoji to represent that energy. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange today, please like, subscribe, and share the video with others if you found this reading of value. And that's all for this reading today. Much love to you, group 3, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends. Hello, friends. You picked the Septarian nodule to represent group 4's energy. And we're going to dive right into the first portion of your reading today. If you need to go back and check out what exactly everything entails, you can do so in the intro. To begin with, we're going to be getting a little pulse on your energy, a little feel for what your energy is like to others who are encountering it. Remember that this is a general reading, so please take what applies for you at this particular time and leave the rest for others on their respective journeys. And before we begin, what I've been doing with every group is just taking a moment to slow down and pause, take a few deep breaths, and go to your center. From here, your energy will naturally connect with the rest of the group as you're taking those deep breaths. And give a little mental hello, wave a little bit to your fellow group 4 members to greet them. And in exchange, you'll feel that little greeting back to you. Okay, here we go. We have water on this. The 6th house, craft. So we have work details, health, well-being, diet, service, daily rituals, contribution, organization, purification, skills, apprenticeship, and method. A little Virgo energy there. And we also have Uranus, revolution, breakthroughs, brainstorming, originality, insight, awakening, technology, innovation, humanitarianism, reform, surprise, freedom, experimentation, the unexpected, rupture, edge, diversity, lightning. Oh, usually I pull that one first, but okay. Oh, and then we have the sword, which also has got some lightning on it. All right. Wow. Okay. So definitely an electricity and a movement to your energy here, group 4. And Yeah, you can feel the pulse. You can feel that crackle to it. There's definitely an aspect to your energy feeling a little unpredictable. But what is predictable is how anchored you are into yourself. We can feel that. This is almost like a wheel here, and you're at the hub or the center. And all the yokes or spokes are facing outward, and that's where other people tether to you. You don't tether to them, they're coming to you. You have the energetic presence and strength of someone who can gather masses, who can shape and who can mold and who can influence. You operate under your own power and nobody else's. However, others do charge you up. And I don't mean this in a way to imply that you're an energy vampire. Like, not at all. You get a charge or a boost from other people. They don't deplete you. You're not depleting them. They just offer this extra component of something. It's like a little seasoning for the stew. There's excitement. There's a charge to your already very poignant auric field. And I know I'm using that word a little differently. I don't mean it in kind of like a sentimental kind of meaning. I mean it more in like a pungent way, but not quite the word pungent either. There's just something that is incredibly sensory about your energy. And I want to describe it in terms of bodily feelings or of tastes or scents. Yeah. Your energy is very, very grounded, group 4, into your physical self, into your being. And you may see that in how others respond to you, how people respond to you, animals, perhaps even plant life for some of you. People definitely notice your energy, perhaps even before you walk into a space. There's an anticipation in the air before you arrive. It's sort of like the calm before the storm. Hey, Charm. Charm says hi. You're equally grounded, and at the same time, you're of the air. You're like heat lightning, right? It's a summer storm that rolls in quickly. It's rolling out just as quickly, and afterward, everyone's just grateful. Like, it leaves that impression, like, oh, we had the rain. Do you remember that time that happened? So it wouldn't surprise me to see you in some kind of visible leadership position. And remember, we talked about your energy being almost sensory. Yeah, you've attracted the cat here. She wants to hang out with you. So it wouldn't surprise me to see you in some kind of visible leadership position. And we talked about your energy being very sensory. And again, it's like I can smell the influence in the air. It's, we're talking about rain. It's like petrichor, right? When the rain is falling in an area that's where the land's been pretty dry. But it's not even that earthy necessarily. The other thing I'm getting, another way to think of it is, have you ever smelled when you have like fresh water drying on rocks that are in the sun, like igneous rocks? Because there's like a mineral quality to it, and that's what's coming through. Yeah, it's not so earthy, it's more like minerals. I feel like that's the crackle of the electricity we're getting. So it's like everything's humming with power with you. Yeah, you feel the pulse of the earth coming through the rock. It's like the earth has its own magic, and you combine it with, I don't know, the rain or with a fresh body of water nearby. And you add in some sunshine, some summer sun, and it's in that kind of crazy intersection where you stand, where your energy is. And I would describe your energy as just full of zest, as being larger than life, sharp, and it's soft, all at the same time. I would also say you're a force of nature. Like, you're like lightning, huge, dominant, and very, very compelling. And you're also what I would call an energetic projector. Your energy pushes outward, and many of your intuitive and psychic gifts would reflect this. I think of all the groups, your energy may be the most outwardly influential. maybe group 2 also, but you know how to use what you have as well. You're someone who learns as they go, and you may have picked up some tricks of the trade from others, either consciously or not, as you make your way in the world. Okay, let's hop into some of your specific intuitive gifts, and we'll do this through the tarot, and we're using the out of hand deck for this. And I was actually drawn to use this deck because it is so practical. It's through the lens of the everyday. So your energy is very much grounded into this kind of practical reality. So some of you watching, you know, would be the person who's like leading others, like through gifts of service. Yeah, or possibly just being in some kind of leadership position or role. Okay, squeeze that out of the way. All right, let's see here. I feel like I'm really rambling with you guys. I apologize. Okay, your gifts are represented by, yeah, look at that. It's like an advocate. The Knight of Swords. That doesn't surprise me at all. Strength. Leonic. Sticking together. Justice, Libra. Okay, so very, very others-oriented, yeah. Conscientious as a whole. There's a lot of conscientiousness here. A lot of swords. Check this out. So we have Knight of Swords. We've got the swords of, you know, balancing the scales of justice there, and then also the sword represented in the initial pull. So you're very, very influential with your energy. And so I'd say one of your gifts is like thinking about the way your words and actions are magnetic to others, which transfers into a type of energetic leadership. You're a bit like the Pied Piper, okay? What you put out into the world, it can grow legs very quickly. Yeah, some of you may not realize this. So I ask you to just take a moment and slow down and take notice of the events or circumstances where you did create something or you did plant the seeds for something new. And what happened around that? You know, how did your project take flight? You know, as this sort of thing happened to you repeatedly? And are there times that it has happened and you were unconscious of doing so versus the times that you were conscious? You may also be the type of person where somebody tells you you can't do something. So then you venture out and you're going to do that thing. You're going to prove them wrong. You know, you think it's unbelievable and unachievable. Watch me. Definitely a watch me component to this here and all of this. That can also be part of your energetic fuel. So with that, I would also say, in addition to this kind of presence and energetic leadership that comes through as a gift, that's very, very almost, I would say innate, is manifesting, okay? Manifesting is something that's also coming through for you. And it's a major intuitive gift for you. What you believe you can achieve, it's really as simple as that. Your energy is very primed and it's very ready to create. So when your thoughts set on a target, your actions will propel you to the outcome much more quickly than others who, you know, are trying to manifest on their own paths. And so it may just be a little more easy for you. So energetically speaking, again, this is very innate. It's naturally a part of your energy. However, the more action you take in the physical world, hi Charm, the more quickly things unfold for you. Yeah. There are additional steps that you can take to move things along for you, should you wish it. I recommend checking out the law of attraction or just doing a search on manifesting if you would like to dig a little deeper. And a word of caution here, though, because your energy is so resonant and powerful, you want to use a little care about what it is that you're dreaming up. You have a very strong influence on others, and like the scales pictured here on the Justice card, you want to come from a place that's neutral and balanced when you're involved in your manifesting process. Manifestation always works best when we're able to let go of our desires after setting our intentions. You want to be like this figure, neutral, poised, and open to what the universe and those around you are saying before making your own decisions going forward. And with this strong idea of balance that's coming through is the idea of balance through healing. So things that were once wrong become right. The pendulum swings the other way. Healing is another intuitive gift of yours, and there are many ways to be a healer and to be healed. Your gifts may be of the physical variety, such as Reiki or energy work or things that are very hands-on. They could also be of the emotional kind, listening, validating, meeting and merging your aura with another person's auric field. Because sometimes our energy alone can be healing and rebalancing for others without us needing to do anything. Yeah. And because of the wide range of people who are watching this, I'm not getting for sure what your particular brand of healing or energy work is, but you might consider exploring, what does healing mean to me? Where am I drawn? Is it energy work in general? Is it cord cutting? Is it therapy? Is it teaching, listening, Reiki? Whatever feels good to you. That can be a doorway into other healing modalities. Yeah, okay, so that's a start. Let's see what else we have. Ooh, the moon. That's a cool card. The Eight of Wands. And Temperance. Okay, I'll take a drink. With the moon, I sense that you have an ability to really read others well. I would label this as an energetic or a psychic gift. It's as though you can look into others and see their deepest, darkest thoughts or fears. And this may be the place where both, the healing and then kind of the leadership aspects are intersecting, okay? They're both coming into play. As you can help push others or guide them through what kind of blocks that they have on their path. So I think you would make an excellent life coach or a mentor or a counselor to other people. And this could also be in part due to you doing your own inner work, confronting and dealing with what it is you need to so that obstacles are unblocked from your sight, if they're removed from your path. It just makes things a lot easier for you. It would also support your manifestation abilities as well. Make no mistake, this isn't just you sifting through what's stored in your brain and your knowledge, because we have a lot of mental energy here. This is also being able to sit and tap into someone's energetic field and aura to be able to see what's happening with them. And that's represented by this Eight of Wands here. So you can see all these different rays of color. There are so many swords represented in your reading. So we want to consider the mental side to this. And I see this energetic or psychic gift as being enhanced by your own agency. So choosing to think about it, choosing to work on this gift, choosing to apply it. And you'll come leaps and bounds in your intuitive development by finding programs or teachers who feel right to you. So don't be shy about checking out reviews, word of mouth, or leaning into someone's energy yourself to see if that individual is a good fit for you. I have a feeling that you likely have a very strong on-off button that governs your interest in something. So if someone isn't for you or their methods aren't, that would be something that's probably pretty instantaneous for you. So be sure to do a little homework here, because with some application of the mind, I see you as really being able to benefit from intuitive development. And this is something you'd be able to use in service to other people. Yeah. Claircognizance is also something that's coming through for you with this Eight of Wands here. This is the intuitive gift of clear knowing. Seeing, again, these little colored beams that we talked about of light coming from a central figure. That's like you being able to read energy through the central channel of your body. Information in an energetic form, entering your crown chakra at the top of your head and filtering through that central channel and through each individual main chakra, presenting you with a download of intuitive information. So this person, yeah, maybe there's a person that's coming through. The information is coming from outside sources, which can include people, places, objects, events, as well as unseen sources like guides or angels or other spirit beings. And if you have other clair sources or senses, I'm losing my train of thought here. If you have other clair senses that you're aware of, and you're working with them in tandem with this claircognizance, you're going to be getting more information, like who or what someone's seen source looks like, or what they sound like, if anything. And if you're just strictly working with claircognizance right now, you may not always get that additional bit of information. And so trust is a big part of this. You have to learn to trust your gut. You have to learn to trust what is being presented to you. Yeah. And sometimes that can be a hard thing to take if you have a lot of mental energy. You can sometimes will yourself to get there, but I do feel it is something to kind of work on within the solar plexus to develop that trust and your own seat of power there. Know too that you can always develop your other clairs with work. That's always an option as well. Claircognizance is knowing what you know without always knowing why you do. So you may receive names or dates or chunks of knowledge that just kind of like are like the bolt out of the blue, like we've been saying about you with this electric kind of magnetic energy that you have. So group 4, just to kind of recap, you do have that strong energetic leadership ability. We talked about manifestation. We talked about healing, a psychic or some kind of ability to read energy, and the claircognizance that's also showing up in this reading today. And I want you to keep in mind too, there's a lot of heavy hitters here. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6 of these cards are major arcana, which is big. There's a lot of potential here. Also, things can develop very rapidly for you, okay? We've got the lightning to represent that lightning strike. Swords are also very quick. Kind of a suit and a symbol. And perhaps this is also due to your natural energetic frequency. Oh, and we also see that with the 8 of Wands too. But I think you learn quickly and you retain it. So investing in your intuitive skills would be very natural for you. And these skills would enhance your life in a rich and meaningful way in addition to what's already there for you that's very innate. Yeah. Okay. So, and I want to say for some of you, don't think that this, especially if you're kind of coming from the logical part of this, don't think that this is just all that there is, because there's so many intuitive abilities out there. There's so much to explore and have fun with and to play with. And don't limit yourself by what you are hearing here today. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more beneath the surface, but this is what wanted to come through in this moment. So it's time for our chakra talk. We're going to check out what chakras are giving us a little information and what they have to say. We've got blue kyanite, hiddenite, and hematites. All right. So the hematite, I think, is a really, really nice stone to talk about your root chakra, or perhaps even the earth star chakra. This speaks to strength and strong roots and ability to remain grounded and level-headed no matter what is thrown at you. And I see you as having these strong roots which keep you stabilized, and they offer enough strength so that when something isn't meant for you, when it's being hurled your way, you can easily just like dodge out of its trajectory with limited impact on you. So I would say your root chakra is likely your strongest chakra at this time, and one that you can rely on to build a stable foundation for the other chakras, and then also for your intuitive gifts as well. And let's talk about hiddenite. This is what's coming through next. So I love the message of gratitude that comes with this. And I want to associate this with your heart chakra and the gift of healing. I'm being pulled back to the moon card here. And on this we have the mirror, right? And it's revealing all things that are hidden. If there are any lingering fears or doubts for you about your place in the world, your abilities, or anything that's related to what we've been addressing here today, this may be a sign to lean into what's going on, what is hidden. Where are there some sticky spots? And just engage in the healing work that you need to do in order to feel good about where you are right now. Because again, the more healed you are, the stronger of a healer you become. And Hiddenite asks you to reveal, what is it that you may be hiding from yourself? at this time, at this particular moment. And this is also a reminder that others will similarly have their own things that they're hiding from. And it is through a heart-to-heart chakra connection, each heart chakra talking to one another, that insights may be revealed to you about other people. So that's why it's important to have that clean and clear. Gratitude may play a part in your healing path as well, to opening this up. Of all emotions and attitudes to adopt, gratitude can be the one that is the most effective heart opener. And I'm not implying that your heart isn't open. It's just, this is where we can kind of juice things up and kind of boost your energetic gifts. I see your chakra is, going from maybe this, like more of a lime green and something that's a little more narrow, to something far more open and expansive, reflecting the color of, say, an emerald, a deeper, richer green. And that's how your heart chakra looks as, you're in flow state and you're healing yourself and you're healing other people. And then finally, we have kyanite, and I'm being pulled to the throat chakra here with this color blue. This is going to be another strong chakra for you. And we see this reflected in your leadership, your energetic influence, and that kind of leonic energy that you embody. And because this is so strong, you want to remember that when you're using your intuitive abilities, that you're filtering out your own beliefs as you channel information. It's important to do that, to kind of put the self and the belief system to the side. So don't let your own biases or mental constructs inform the intuitive insight that comes through to you. Sometimes we want to, have what's coming through match a picture we have, or our own projections of the way we feel a situation might be, or a person may behave, why they're behaving the way they're behaving. And oftentimes it's unconscious, right? So lean into your grounding cord in the root chakra. Keep that heart chakra open. Turn down your inner chatter that's there. Literally, take your hand and you can pretend that you are using a volume dial and just turn off the mind, and then see what comes through. And even though it seems a little silly, sometimes you might feel it. You might notice a difference between, what is you and then what is other with practice. You do have a very strong energetic field, group 4, and I am really curious. I can't wait to hear some of the things that you're doing in the world. So please come back and, comment and tell us about it. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to wrap things up with last messages regarding your intuitive abilities. And from the Empyrean Oracle, we have, oh, that's perfect. Turn it this way even. Reflection. There we go. Isn't that neat? Okay. This makes you want to put it that way. So we have reflection, and oh my gosh, it looks like more mirrors, doesn't it? That's crazy. So Akashic Stargates, aligned with purpose, crossroads, and no wrong path. Okay. So it seems like there's a bit of a theme going on here. We were talking about the Hiddenite. We had the other mirror on the moon card. We've got reflection. So that may mean something specific to some of you, but I also feel like we're tapping into, what we want to see in ourselves and what we want to put out into the world. So, doing the work inside so we can be more efficient with our actions, in the outer world. And for reflection, I want to go into the guidebook just to see if there is something there, because these are just written so eloquently. I'm going to pop into this. Reflection 65. I'll pull it up so you can screenshot it if you'd like. Hopefully that's in focus, or at least part of it. Once we see, we can't unsee. And those of us who have had that first taste of seeing ourselves and not shrinking in fear enter into a marriage with the work. It becomes that which we see life through, and it's not easy, which is why so few do it. We shed and we shed and we shed, and then we realize we will never stop shedding. We fall in love with this maze, the place we call home, because if there is one thing that truly belongs to us, this is it. To traverse this landscape within us is to be a collector. We collect the memories of moments and traumas, signs, and questions. Before we awake, we spend our lives ignoring that what lies below the surface. The ugly we want to edit, the truth we want to pretend doesn't exist. We don't want to explore because we know we will be forced to change. When we finally take the plunge, we start looking for something in everything. Every little thing is significant. Eventually, we hope to land in a place of balance, where we can enter into reflection and inquiry when needed, and enjoy our life without overanalyzing the rest of the time. Each time we loop around this maze, we fall more in love with the process. It stops being a chore we begrudgingly do. We start seeing the beauty in meeting with our pain, of cleaning out our wounds, stitching them up, and keeping the gift that they offer us. Reflection is carrying this medicine we've made with us. We get to wear these hard-earned talismans. They become invisible ink on our skin, armoring us for a future knowing we can now do things differently. Reflection asks you to find balance in this process. Love it more if that's needed. Go easier on yourself if it's overwhelming for you. Life is hard, painful, and heavy, but it is also a game. Don't take it so seriously. I love it. All right. Oh, and you have a song, Into Dust by Mazzy Star. That's a beautiful message. So, yeah, and I'm going to link that song for you. I think all the other groups had a little song. So, that one, Into Dust, it's like this little gentle earworm for sure. So I'd be curious what you think about it. But that'll be down there in the description box for you. And what I'm also being drawn to is just here with the Akashic Stargate, that phrase like aligned with purpose. It's just perfect for you because I truly feel in terms of your intuitive journey, you're right where you need to be. Okay, there isn't a wrong way or wrong path for you no matter how you go about this. You will glean lessons and information that will propel you forward on your journey in the most beneficial way to you and ultimately fuel your momentum in being of service to others if that is what you wish, because you are a natural leader. You are very, very powerful, very magnetic. All right, so that is what is coming through for you today. If you feel drawn to another pile, now's the time to go check it out. And I want to thank you for being here with us. And go ahead and claim your group in the comment box with the, I think we have to do the mirror emoji to represent your intuitive gifts. And in the spirit of our energetic exchange today, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others if you found this reading of value. And that's all for this reading today. Much love to you, Group 4, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends.